Welcome back everybody to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. You read the title, you know why you're here. But before we get into it, we're heading for 1,000 subscribers. I wish we were nearing it, but I want to reach 1,000 subscribers to start getting monetization on YouTube. So if you want to support me, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Hit a like would be, I think, maybe pushing my luck, but hit a like, leave a comment for the algorithm, and let's get into it. So I made a video the other day, pretty much talking for new player guides, running through endgame, and I did mention the tinkering station. Mentioned it, kind of did a quick run through. I think it might have been a bit confusing, so I wanted to um, talk a bit about it, but also give a strategy that okay, I can't claim I discovered it. I didn't see anyone else do it, so I don't think I'm the first to do it. But I've also not seen a video on this, so this might be the first video on it. Mention it in the comments. If this was someone else's idea, though, I do apologize. I'm not stealing it, but I don't know. So I think first things first. Basic explanation how I did that was library. You save roles that you want to you extract roles from weapons that you don't want, weapons and gear pieces you don't want to use. Tinkering, you put those roles onto weapons and gear you want to use, and you can optimize those weapons and gear pieces. And then expertise is end game, when you want to actually finally level up your things beyond actually having full roles. Library, first and foremost, whenever you play the game, you pick up a weapon, you pick up a gear piece, everything in the game has roles. So weapons have uh, core attributes, attributes and talents, as well as gear pieces. Chest piece and backpacks have talents. All gear pieces have core attributes and sub attributes as well. When you pick up a weapon that you have not extracted yet, when you come to the screen, you will see a little green arrow next to the respective like core attribute, sub attribute, or talent. Now, as you can see, I am missing some talents, and the white says I have 12 out of 12 extracts, but they're not all maximum. So as you can see, I have a bunch of maximum. I'm missing a bit on reload speed, missing a bit on stability, a bit on accuracy as well. Max being 12, I have an 11.9. So now if I get a weapon that has 12% accuracy on it, I can come here, I can destroy that weapon and extract uh, that accuracy roll, and I will have it here so that I can at any time recalibrate it and put it onto a weapon. Same thing goes for gear pieces. Note that if you want to recalibrate, which is what we're going into now with tinkering, you can only do one slot. So each respective thing in this game has three main slots. You have, or four main slots if it has a talent, but you can only recalibrate one of these slots. Once you've recalibrated that slot, you can then at any time like swap out the thing you've put in, but you can't. It'll lock out the other slots to and make them uninteractable, I guess, basically. Now, the way you recalibrate is, as I said, the first part, you extract stuff off of gear pieces that you don't want to use, or for whatever reason, you just want to fill this up and you find a nice gear piece. You extract it out of that and you put it in here. Then over here, you can use resources. As you can see, cost to recalibrate. You can use money, and then a little bit of steel and a little bit of, I don't actually recall what that is called, but you can use these three, uh, or two resources and money, three resources. I'm just going to go ahead and call it resources to recalibrate your weapon, or recalibrate a roll. Putting in a max level roll, you can, if you want to. As you can see, this is rifle damage. I could now go ahead and put rifle damage on top of this rifle damage because I want a full roll, but I don't recommend that. Usually swap out stuff that you don't want off of a gun onto something that you want. Um, but the way you fill up this bar is, as you can see here, we have optimization. So I can use this resources, or these four resources, to upgrade my weapon. Now, these resources pretty easy to get. You just free roam. You open those little bags on the floor and those little containers. You'll learn to spot them, but there's two specific things you open. They'll always give you their own respective materials. But what you can do is over there is just free roam. These next materials are a bit harder to get. The first, okay, I say the next is a bit harder to get. These three are harder to get. The first one is just weapon parts. So scrapping down any legendary weapon, you'll get them. Gear pieces has the same thing. Scrapping down a respective gear piece will give you, I think it's called a mesh or something. So those are easy to get. The second one is control point flags. Uh, I'm just going to call them control point flags. Now, as you can see, I need 29. I only have 29. So if I do this optimization thing, I'll be out of those. I haven't farmed in a while. But the way I'll get to how you farm them specifically by doing control points, or in the dark zone, doing the landmarks in the dark zone you get. Then you get this third little resource. Now, this one differs from weapon to weapon. Let's see if I can see this. Okay, these. Let's see. Can I actually optimize you? Why does all of you now use the same thing? Or is it just respective to this weapon? Okay, that is max roll. Let's click on a U. Okay, there you can see it changes. So this is connected to a certain faction in the game. The previous ones was the what were they called? I don't recall their names, but the previous one was the a faction, and then that is the cleaner, not the cleaner, the hyena faction. The way you get them is killing named NPCs of that thing. The last resource that you showed, uh, go ahead, hit M. The last resource, this is going to be summit caches. You can get it, or if you are running countdown, opening the final like crate on each respective objective will get you some of those as well. So that's the basic thing about recalibrating or extracting and recalibrating. The final part of this whole thing, we get to expertise. Now, expertise is, I'd say it's pretty end game if you want to focus on it. But it's a good thing to start early game with, or relatively early game with. And I'll show you what to do. Or I'll show you my strategy, how I like to get at least like do three of these things at pretty much the same time. So what recalibration is, each weapon and gear piece. So each weapon has 10 levels to go through. Each specialization has 10 levels to go through. Each named and exotic gear piece slash weapon also has 10 levels to go through. All the skills, and as you can, it's just so on and so forth. Every like gear set and every brand set, everything is 10 levels. Now, for non-exotics, or for non-exotic things, so for any normal weapon, 10 weapons of the same type gives you one level. So you need or I believe that is how it worked. I don't recall, I haven't done this in forever, but I still think that might be how it worked. 10 weapons or 10 of the same gear piece gets you one level. That is arguably the best way and quickest way to get it, is farm up weapons and gear pieces and donate them in here to upgrade your proficiency. Specialization, you can proficient with either, you need to use them, or you can put resources towards it. Generally, I wouldn't say don't use resources, or I would say don't use resources, because resources are, as you saw, important for recalibrating, and you're going to need quite a lot of them. The one exception I would say to getting resources is there are some, like the two raid exotics and some dark zone exotics, or dark zone exclusive named items that might be hard to get. If you're not into PvP and you can't find a raid, or you just don't care about the raids, to get those exotics, you could donate resources. For instance, over here I have an LMG. Now, this is a new LMG, so it's not a raid exotic or anything, but if I wanted to, I can go into it. And as you can see, you can donate materials, donate selected, or donate junk. Now, junk is just anything if you've marked, if I mark this cricket as junk, it'll be considered as junk. You can't just donate anything and everything you've marked as junk to level the weapon. Everything will go to their own respective thing. But the donate junk and looting as junk is going to be key for the next part of the strategy. As you can see, I can hit V, and then I can donate all of these materials that I've worked relatively hard for, and there is a lot of them. I'm not going to do this because I just use the things in the current time because I don't have a lot of stuff anymore to proficient. So just using them tends to be the easiest way to level them for me. But yeah, so you have 10 levels. The way you level them is by using them, donating the respective piece that you want to level, or donating resources to it. Your expertise level is over here to the top left. Now, the big level or the small level is the first part. You can take the tiny number, the 75 out of 90. You can basically take that as experience, basically experience points. Using something gives you a level. So you have 10 levels per thing. If you get one level, that counts as one of the small numbers. Once you get to the required amount of levels, you get a proficiency or an expertise level. I think it's actually an expertise level. Being proficient is the tiny levels, but that doesn't matter the technical terms for it. But leveling something up gives you one. Getting enough levels gets you a expertise or a proficiency level, whatever you want to call it. Then what you can do is you can come back here and you can choose something you have. So for instance, let's go to assault rifles because I know I have a chameleon on me. I actually have two. Once you've reached level 10, you can start investing resources to go up in levels. So it's rank 10. I can now start investing to get proficiency levels. Uh actually let's do I have a very nice capacitor here that I would like to actually proficiency up, so I can show here as well. You hold space, you put these resources into it, and it gains 1% weapon damage per level you upgrade it to. You can only upgrade your weapons and gear pieces to the big number. So I can currently only put 26 levels into this capacitor, giving me 26% weapon damage. Skills will be different. Shields get 1% active shield regeneration. Um, some skills get skill damage, some skills get radius. But you can come here and see what that is. But that is pretty much expertise. I hope that was a lot more coherent than the previous one and a bit more in depth. Now, finally, I said I'm going to share a strategy. Uh, Strategy is actually very simple, so I'm not really going to play through it because it's very self-explanatory. But as I said, you get the little flag points by doing control points or landmarks. The thing that I don't like about landmarks in the DZ, one is in the DZ. I don't do PvP, I live in South Africa, so my ping is just too terrible. I can't do it. Now you can run around relatively uninterrupted most of the time, but the other problem is you can't determine what faction is uh, currently possessing what heroic landmark, so you don't know what named NPC is going to come. However, if you look at landmarks, as you can see, the True Suns are currently holding this. So I know named True Sun is going to be, so it's going to be the square with the stripes. So I know one named enemy of the True Sun is going to be there, so I know I'm going to get some True Sun material. I know I'm going to get the little flag. And another thing that I know I'm going to get is going to be the final chest, which I can then mark all of those. I can hold H and loot all of those things as junk, which we then go into our inventory, hit M, just go into expertise and hold X to donate everything we've marked as junk. It'll automatically go in. If you keep doing this, you'll get to a point where you've got a lot of these things proficient, you've gained a lot of levels, and then you're going to start actually need to nitpick certain things and farm in the summit for things, wear certain things. But if you're new to the game, or if you haven't even thought about progressing, doing that and just running around will get you a lot of things. Additionally, it'll get you some resources and it'll give you levels. Now, if you're level 1000, you probably don't need this guide anymore. If you're below level 1000, this can still work for you because you get your Shade Watch levels. Now, it'll double for leveling these, but the main thing you want to look at are these scavenging levels, because in scavenging, you can get the little flag, so the recon field data, and you can get shade recalibration. Since shade recalibration is arguably the biggest pain to get because you need to finish summit, like the little summit missions, not finish the summits on its own, but those, get grenade kills, all that, getting a summit recalibration cache, or doing specifically countdown. I would recommend putting points into this if you can, as far as possible. However, I know people are going to need some of this for rerolling, so you're going to want to spend experience there as well. But that is what I would recommend mostly, is just getting the shade recalibration or shade calibration here. But you know how to get them now as well. Just do summit missions or do countdown. So what I like to do is do a I love running these control points. Now, for now, it's full True Suns. There's a lot of True Suns control points over here. Down here are some Hyena control points. And over here is some more Hyenas, I believe. Cleaners will be over here. Yeah, or Outcasts. Outcasts are generally more over here than not. So what I like to do
Black Tusk units are
is
setting up at the
yeah, yeah, yeah. What I like to do is I like to start at one. I usually target a specific thing because, as you can see, they're all grouped relatively close together. There's some more True Suns or one very far abandoned one. Here are the Hyenas, and over here are the Outcasts. What I like to do is I like to start at one point, clear at the first control point, and then donate the water and stuff to the guy, giving you that X-ray vision. Running around to the bags on my way to here, just uh, ping it, run on my way to here, so from here to here, and just pick up all the boxes for the little resources. And if you want to be even more efficient, it takes a bit more time, but actually cleaning out these as you can see, the drop materials on the top left, you can actually get I'd say a decent amount of materials just finishing out those as well. But yeah, so in summary, do a control point, uh, kill the final boss. Final boss will give you some resources. As you can see, you get some field recon data for finishing this one. The final boss will drop you some of the named outcast things. Donate resources, move on to the next one. And as you open the final chest, just mark everything as junk. Or don't just mark everything as junk, go through it and see if there might be something that you want. But for the most part, mark everything as junk. And then there's two ways you could do the sequence after you've marked it as junk. One, what you can do is first go into your because I'd say it's a lot easier to get your library full. I'd say before you donate to expertise, go into your library, just extract everything that has a green arrow. Even if the green arrow is just slightly more, um, go ahead, just extract everything, and whatever you don't extract, go ahead, throw into expertise. Doing this will get you levels, it'll get you your proficiency levels, it'll get you resources, it'll get you all your recalibration stuff. And yeah, so you just need one good build. Like I said, striker build is can't go wrong with it. And yeah, what else did I miss? Oh yes, the one other thing I wanted to mention is if you don't want to do a control point specifically, a slightly quicker way to get that named enemy resources. If you're like missing, two or three, and you really don't want to do a control point, you could just click on bounties. Hovering over bounty, you can see respective like this little icons. You can see what faction they belong to. You can, if you find something like this, it is a treasure trove because each of these will drop you one of those or a few of those resources. So getting 3 at once, it could really help out getting those named enemy resources as well. So you can just, like I said, go ahead, scan through all these, and that's a way to get the named enemy resources. Uh, but yeah, that is all I have. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you did enjoy this, if you made it up to here, please be sure hit like, hit subscribe, leave me a comment, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.